Hello and welcome to Points of Interest. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, along with my co-host, James, over here.
Hey, guys.
If you're new to the show, this is Inverted Realities Gaming News Podcast. Each week we collect video game news and stories from around the internet, bring them to you in a nice, easy-to-consume package at your own pace. We release the show in chunks. Like how I looked up instead of at the written-out form of this whole thing that we have.
I'll think of the notes
sometimes.
sometimes.
Man, I'm going to make it up. We release the show in chunks from Tuesday to Thursday. One little bits, then the whole show on Friday. You can get the show on podcast services around the globe and releases as a full video and MP3 on Friday on youtube.com/invertedreality. It's also when the audio comes out. This intro is a nightmare. Just like from top to bottom.
Really good. Well done.
That was
good.
We're keeping this one.
Good words.
Follow us on Twitter at IR Games. Stay up to date with what we're doing. We'll tweet out links and all the things we're doing. We're also doing a new show over at youtube.com/secondinvite, I believe it is.
Well, it's actually not because they don't have enough subs yet. So they have They have the weird URL right now.
We'll put a link in the description below. But head over there. It's a collaboration channel with us and some other guys that we've talked about before. Steve of War, who has been on the show, is kind of the head dude on the channel, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah, he does a lot of content there and runs a lot of stuff for it.
We do a short form podcast called Boss Fight. So it's less news and more just kind of our opinions on things in the gaming world.
But with lots of facts. We do research and we look things up. Yeah. We're not going to cite our sources, but
it's a deeper dive into one single topic as opposed to kind of a broad scope like we do on this show.
So if you're looking for that, you're going to hit up at Second Invite on Twitter. Comes out every Friday. Probably be around the same time our normal podcast goes up in its full-fledged form. But be sure to head on over there. They're about 15-minute episodes, so they're not a huge commitment. You know, I mean, that's the goal. Who knows what it'll grow to. But we also got a lot of other good stuff over there. I think that's enough for promo stuff.
Yeah, that's enough promo stuff. So speaking of promo stuff and not... what have you been playing, Sweet James?
Wolfenstein 2. I found a new image for it. It looks way cooler. It encompasses everything I love about this game.
He's wearing a Vive.
It's very similar to a Vive in that it does not survive a throwing knife. It's very similar. Hatchet defensibility.
Hot take, Vives do not stand throwing axes. It's from early in the game.
Yeah, this is actually from
the armor
early shot here. Yeah, so he's still in his first body. But so, Wolfenstein 2, I just finished it this week, and now I'm going back through the Uber Commando stuff. I'm doing the side quests. I'm doing some of the collectibles. I don't know how far I'm going to go with it. I want to get all the weapon upgrades.
There's a lot of them.
And I want to do all of Max's toys, because there's not a ton of those.
Yeah. I've upgraded the weapons that I use.
Yeah,
like I have all the upgrades on the weapons that I use, and from there it's like, oh, I don't know what I want to upgrade. None of these sound cool because I don't use them.
It kind of just, I don't know when I'm going to get sick of it, but I'm going through all the Uber Commando stuff. I might have to grind out Enigma codes, which is kind of
That's
annoying.
what I need to do. That's like I've used all of mine.
I've used all of mine, and I still have I have 3 or 4 that I have to go do, but then I have 3 or 4 after that still to unlock. And so I was looking it up online, and everything's like, well, just go grind these missions. I'm like, dang it.
That sounds less fun.
Yeah, so I don't know how far I'll go with that.
Because it's not like one Enigma code per mission. It's like where I'm at now, it's like I need 5, and then 6, and then 5, and then 6, and then 6, and then 4. And I'm like,
right.
So what you're telling me is I need like 40 more of these if I want to keep going.
Because you normally get a couple from each of the Uber Commando missions, which is great, but I need more than that.
I don't think you get one from the actual boss.
No, you don't get one from the boss, but you get
one from the actual dudes.
Some of them are much bigger levels that have like a bunch of commanders on them, so that's great, and you get like 2 or 3 of them. Some of them don't. There's just like one guy.
Some of them just have the boss, and it's like, boy, this feels like a waste.
So I like the missions. They're varied. They're taking you back to the same locations you went to in the game. You start in different places. You get to explore from different angles. Some stuff that you could get to that maybe you couldn't get to before, or it's more obvious. It's nice.
Now you have... Here's the deal. Here's what's about to happen. We're going to get into some spoiler talk for Wolfenstein 2 and Assassin's Creed Origins, and later some Halo Master Chief stuff. But that's Halo 2 and 3, and if you haven't beaten those yet, you probably weren't going to.
Right.
So if you don't want Wolfenstein 2 and Assassin's Creed Origins stuff spoiled for you, we'll put in some timestamps, hopefully. I'll do my best to not forget them.
I promise we'll put them in.
One of us will put them in and come back when they're done.
That's right.
Because we've beaten both those games in the last week, and so we're going to talk about some stuff.
All right.
So spoilers starting here.
Right here. Wolfenstein 2.
Let's start later, the stuff you can get to because you have the power-ups.
Right.
Which power did you get first? You get the shoulder,
of course, I got the shoulder charging one.
Yeah.
That because come on now, the other one said stealth, and the other one said something about not being awesome. So I decided to go with that, and it's there's just something about running people over at full speed because it's like, I don't know if I want to use my shotgun or my rifle, so I'll just hit him with my shoulder and I'll just charge at him. And it's gotten me killed in a lot of situations because, I mean, I look at them all the way around the corner. I'm like, I can run that far.
I'm going to tackle that guy.
So, but it's really fun. It's a cool mechanic. I like doing it to the commanders because when you shoulder charge the commander, they explode. They don't just like fall over dead. There's no body left. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
No, I got the battle walkers. So
battle
walkers
are interesting.
I
just got those.
I like that they gave them to you later.
Yeah,
I sat there and
like,
I kind of like the idea of having that, but I also like the idea of
I
having
looked it up before I picked one to see if I would ever get a chance at the other ones. To say, yeah, don't worry, you'll get some later.
Normally, I do look that kind of stuff up, be like, which one do I want to get? Because like, and it usually like lays out if this is your play style, you want to get these, and so I got the Battle Walker ones, and for some of the, I don't know if it was commandos or some of the last missions, like there's bridges, and I'm like, gosh, I know he's over there above me, and I was like, oh. Just like plop up and you like shoot the guy.
So my only problem, because they give you, the nice thing is that choosing any of them don't ward off missions from you. Like you could do all the main missions.
There's just a way to get through with your particular power.
Like each of them. The only problem with mine is because it's bursting through doorways, right? It, like people know, like it even if they're not in the next room, it sets off the alarm almost every time. Without, I mean, you're busting through a doorway, so it checks out. But I was kind of bummed because like, well, I'd like to kind of come in and like snipe a couple people off before they see me. Nope. I just busted down the door. And guys down the hallway were like, what? What's going on? So that kind of stunk, but not really because it's Wolfenstein.
It's totally cool.
You're not really needing to play this as stealth.
How much stealth is really required.
But yeah, after I was able to go back through in the Uber Commando missions and find the other two pieces, and then I went and got the upgrades for them because they're pretty easy side missions there in the main game. So very interesting stuff. We're probably going to have dogs barking in a second.
Your dogs are going insane.
Yeah. Clearly something's going on back there. But yeah, I loved it. The game was great. I loved seeing Hitler in the game.
That was such a great thing when they're like, "Oh, the producer," and then Hitler like comes coughing into the scene.
It's interesting because we obviously don't know what Hitler would have been like 15 years after World War II, right? We don't. Yeah. That he died obviously. So it's interesting to see him. He's insane, and he's still like this terrible, awful dictator, but he's also just kind of nuts,
just a little bit crazy.
He's crazy, and so like he just kills the actors. And did you kill Hitler when he gave you the chance to?
I don't remember.
So he coughs, and then he lays down while you're supposed to go in and do like the combat simulation.
Oh,
yeah. So he's laying there on the ground, and if you walk over to him, you can press a button, and
you can kill him.
And you just like step on his face and break his neck, and you get a trophy for it. And then they immediately kill you. Like you're dead seconds later.
Oh, shoot, now I need to go back and do that mission.
Yeah, you do need to do it.
It's like walk through there.
Hilarious. Yeah, it was awesome.
There's part of me that does want to play through it again because we were talking about this. Yeah. I picked the older dude in the first game to live, and I picked him again in this one.
Right.
And so I played through this whole thing as with him, but then I don't know anything with the younger dude.
Right. And so I know that like all the interactions are different because in the first game there wasn't a huge difference. We talked about it a little bit. This one, it's like there was like a couple full missions or side missions stuff dedicated to stuff around that, right? And so my guy was tripping on LSD. And it was awesome, and it was crazy, and it was weird. And so I want to see what it's like because at the end of the game, my guy gives a big speech, which I'm guessing your guy gives a big speech, the old guy.
Yeah, so, it was weird. Because I looked up again because of the kind of memory I have. We were talking about the song, and I was like, crap, I forgot what the song was. So I looked it up on YouTube. I'm like, who's this guy talking? Like, what is? Oh, right. I'm like, who is this guy? Where's Fergus?
Yeah. So I am going to play through it again. I haven't decided what difficulty level because I want to get another. Part of me is trying to decide if I want to go for the platinum. Like I'm on the edge, and I think I can commit to getting everything but like the hardest difficulty trophy. So like I want to get the collectibles because I think it's possible. So we'll see. I'm still on the fence, but I'm going to replay it again. I'm going to choose that. I just wished you could have like a New Game Plus where you could bring your weapons and upgrades and stuff with you. That would be kind of nice. But yeah, I loved it. The story was great. It kind of felt short, but I think it was just because I marathoned it for like a week.
Yeah.
It's just really cool. And the way you kill her at the end, just
bam.
And then like the credits, as the credits are rolling and it cuts back in and you propose to Anya and she's just sitting there still bleeding on the desk, like on this camera feed.
She's just dead right there.
Like, It was insane. It was graphic. It was beautiful. I love it. I love having actual side missions and other stuff to do now that the game's over. The first one, it was pretty much just like challenge arenas and go do the game harder. This is just like another dimension of the game.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Yep.
All right,
was indeed a good game. Would recommend if you haven't played it already.
You finished Origins.
So I beat Origins this week.
Finally.
Yes.
I've been waiting for it.
I loved the end of Origins because like I've played through, most of the, flagpole.
Oh, yeah, tentpole.
Right, tentpole. I was like, there's
flagship tentpole.
That's where I was getting confused. I was like, there's tent in there somewhere.
I played the tent ship games of AC.
Yeah. But so the thing the guy has at the end is called the Apple of Eden, and that's big. That's a big piece from the very first game,
right?
And so it's just one of those things that they find in the first game and whatever, move on. So it's like, oh, it's cool, like seeing that again, and that's when they first find it,
right?
And it becomes part of what the Templars.
Yeah, and see, those are things that I don't even know. Like, I thought it was cool when he took the little the bird skull or whatever and pressed it into the sand, or dropped in the sand
and pulled it up and see
it
the assassin logo.
The assassin's logo. I was actually I love the story. I love the dynamic between Bayek and Aya. It was interesting because you could feel her pulling away the whole game.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to dedicate to what she was doing. And I think it's because she figured out a lot sooner that they were never going to be again because of what they had to go through. And so it was really bittersweet moment because you get to that, you're like, we did it. We could be together now. It's all good and happy. She's like, no.
I know. It's so hard. Like every time you had an interaction with her, especially as someone who's married,
right?
But obviously someone who's never lost a child.
Yeah, this is a little different.
That's not something I hopefully will ever know. But it's one of those things you see every time he's there, and he's like, "Hey, let's do this." She's like, "No, I need to do this.
I need to go do this."
And you can just tell it's one of those things. Like he always said we, she always said I.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah. And so it was interesting coming down and the realization. She's just like, "All right, I'm going to leave." And this is not a place and time where you can call each other, where you can write letters. It's like, you may never hear or see from her again. She's going to Rome, which is basically the other side of the world as far as you know.
Yep.
So it was really sad, but it was cool because it had to happen. It made sense by that point.
You see that moment where just
so
turns from all right.
Yeah. And
let's go do this.
And he didn't like it, but he knew that it needed to be done.
He just becomes this hardened assassin dude.
Love
it's like,
this is good.
That's awesome.
It was good. I liked that there were callbacks to the rest of the games. Obviously, there was some deep lore stuff referencing, in some of the caves you can go back and explore. There was a second
visions.
There was the second part with the visions and stuff that didn't make any sense to me. I guess some of that's some AC lore.
Yep.
Some of it's set up for the next stuff. Talking about Desmond, talking about the big event in 2012
Desmond
or something.
Is the first.
He's the very first
guy.
one, right?
So he's the guy that plays. He plays as Altair, and he plays as as Ezio.
Right. So it's interesting. I didn't know anything about the present day theme, and I had to go and read a little bit about the present day of what she was doing.
Present day felt a little bit shoehorned in,
tacked on. Oh yeah, it definitely was.
In other games, present day is a lot more.
Yeah, this
part of what
I feel like I only got forced out 3 or 4 times in a 50-hour span.
Oh yeah.
Which I've watched other people play AC and get pulled out more. So it was interesting. I had to read it, and so I guess the difference was that she built her own Animus, and she changed it because you could just use DNA from anybody and jump in rather than you having to have those people's DNA. So she found the burial site for Aya and Bayek and took their DNA and was able to jump into their lives at any point, which is really cool. And so she works for Abstergo, which is the bad guys,
Templars.
Which is the Templars, which is the Brotherhood or the Order in the game. Right. So that's what that is. And then the people that came to her were part of the Assassins.
Yep.
Right. So that's the Brotherhood, or
technically, yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's one of those things as an Assassin's Creed person, you knew that and you were not confused. I got into that. I'm like, I don't understand.
Yep.
So it's interesting because they're taking the modern day story and they'll be able to use that, launch into it from the next one. So are they going to follow Aya into Rome? I don't know. We kind of did things in Rome and right at the end, which felt a little bit tacked on.
Which was just, that was the big thing. And you and I talked about this very briefly yesterday. Was you have this big final boss battle, which was legit difficult. Yeah. Not wow, this is stupid hard, but it was difficult.
Yeah.
And so you do this whole thing and you have this, this moment between Aya and Bayek, and they drop the skull and it makes the Assassin's Creed logo. You're like, oh, great. Now I'm doing ship comp. What the?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Continue with Aya.
Why am I still good? You play for another hour.
Yeah. The ship combat was hard.
I mean, the ship combat was it kind of is what it is, and I understand people love the ship combat from Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
Cool. Put that in earlier. Like
so you had it once
you
or
missed
twice
your ending.
with her. Yeah.
Like, and then you go with her and you got to fight the dude that was second in command with the dudes you already killed.
Which has been, you should have killed him already. So that
which
felt
was
weird.
Hardcore just felt tacked on. It was an easy boss fight because we dropped in there and I'm like, she's not very strong. He's got these whip around things that you just can't jump into, which turns out you can.
Yeah, it was way
as soon as you come in here, he stops, and
it looked like it was going to be way harder just from the outside.
Then once you start and your adrenaline builds really fast, I'm like, this is an easy fight. This should have been sooner. And you got to stealth through into where Caesar is, but you don't have the bird, so you can't see where everybody is. You don't have any good weapons,
and you got this huge plateau with like 40 or 50 people out in front of the doors.
It's huge, and then you get in there, and you get like cutscene where she's walking in. And then you're out there, and then you get to walk in and set. I'm like, no. Like, from the end of this, like, it would have felt just fine to have, like, okay, they pick up the bird skull, she gets on the ship, and you just, a 10-minute cutscene of she battles her way to Rome, and she's part of the plot to kill Caesar.
Right. They just go through.
It's them.
Yeah.
And then, she's writing the letter to Bayek, and he's running through doing those things. And it's like, man, this would have been such a great thing. And the ending
it was like a 3 or 4 minute cutscene.
Ruin the game at all. Not like, oh, it's so bad, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, man, like you had it. Like it was so good. It built to this great moment.
Yeah.
And I was just so relieved that I had finished that battle. And I was like, awesome. I've beat this game.
Right.
And it's just like, what?
Yeah. It felt weird. I was
happening?
like, is this just like a credit scene?
You get like an achievement that's like almost there. And I'm like, what do you mean almost there?
What do you mean almost there?
Like I just won.
It was cool though because you got to close the book yourself on that chapter of it. And I think the Caesar thing was cool. Because it gives you like, hey, here's an actual historical event that happened. Yeah, it's not quite the way that it was, but
altered.
It puts you in that mindset of like, I mean, there legitimately could be a shadow organization manipulating these things in the background without being seen, because that's the whole point of it. Maybe that's how it happened. No one saw her. No one talked to her. She got in, landed the first blow, and got out, and everyone just kind of jumped on him. So it was a really interesting thing. I like that she went and threatened Cleopatra. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like
she just showed up there. She's like, just so you know, we're in charge, not you.
Yeah. And so it was, overall, it was good. There was a couple little nitpick things, but it was awesome. I mean,
it was a great game.
Did you go up against any war elephants?
I accidentally landed in one of the arenas. Like, I was trudging across trying to get to where I was going.
Yeah.
And I think right now I'm still like level 37 or something like that.
Oh.
And so, or I was like level 38, I think, when I finished the game.
Right.
Because the last mission's only level 35.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as I'm running across, I'm like hunting for materials to upgrade all my stuff.
Right.
And I'm running to my next objective and hunting alongside, and I just kind of fell down. And I landed, and all of a sudden, it was a scene with an elephant. I was like, I don't want to be here. And I was just like running around the arena. I'm like, there's got to be a way out. There's got to be a wall I can climb.
Death.
Literally anything else.
Death is the way out.
Actually, no, you run to the door and just hold A. You can exit the
I didn't
level.
know you could actually exit there.
Yeah, you can run to the door and just walk out.
Yeah. I took some time, and I didn't beat them all because there's the achievement's only for one of the war elephants. There's a specific one to beat. Or no, it's the one with 2 war elephants in it. If that makes sense.
Gross.
It was terrifying. It was the hardest thing I have ever done in a video game. It felt like Dark Souls, but
I did it as part of a mission.
it felt kind of like Dark Souls, but you're way 100% different.
Yeah.
It's just like, it felt like Dark Souls, but you're an elephant versus an ant is basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It just really time consuming. You got to figure out the paths, and each elephant's a little bit different. So like what you do over here, it's like, oh, this elephant just charges you and whatever. That's not as bad. Well, this guy's got an archer above you, right? That maybe throws the poison smoke stuff. Okay. So I can't just like block it with my shield, right? This guy throws arrows, so I can block that one. I got to dodge that. So it's cool. And it's definitely like end game. Like, okay, you think you're good, go beat 5 war elephants. So I found them and I did them, and it was cool. But boy, it was difficult.
So when you had to go beat Agrippa,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
How did you I know you and I played the game so differently. So essentially what
You'd be surprised. What did you, I'm trying to remember Agrippa.
So
Which
he
one
was-
was that?
he was in a fort with 2 other like high level dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But he was wearing like the white lion thing. It might be a side mission now that I'm thinking of it.
I know I've done the side missions.
And
Ooh. I can't honestly
but like essentially
remember.
how I went through the fort, but he was just like super hard to kill. You can't assassinate him, and even when you stealth attack, it's maybe 1 bar. So you're like,
I'm trying to remember what I did.
yeah. It sticks out to me because it's kind of recent in my head. But did you use any of the berserk darts ever?
No, I didn't even have those unlocked until I was going through achievements.
Oh, dude, I went through it it was one of the earlier things I got when I
Yeah.
could get it because they had them in Assassin's Creed 4,
Oh yeah.
but they were blow darts.
Mm.
And so essentially what happens with the Berserk darts is like he goes crazy and starts killing his own dudes.
Ooh.
And at the end of it, they die. And so I was like, after I failed the thing the first time,
Right.
I ran around and killed everyone around him. So he's just patrolling his area by himself.
Right.
Everybody else is like laying in bed dead. And so I walked up and I hit him with a Berserk dart and he ran out and did something and he just died. I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
avoided
think-
a hard boss fight.
Usually what I would do is I think I remember that one, but I think that fort had like a couple other side missions there. So I was trying to like multitask. Like I came around and found this prisoner that was a side mission.
Yep.
And then I had to get a horse or something. I don't know. It was interesting. But usually when I would have those, I would just clear out all the bad guys and just one-on-one. Like 1v1 me, bro. Like 1v1 on Rust. And but see, I did the gladiator trials. I did all of those at both locations. I did all of them. I did the hard modes for most of them. Like I spent some time in that 1v1 like boss mode combat, and I got really good at it. So those boss fights with the 1v1 became not as hard
Oh, yeah.
with the amount of times I went into those arenas, because the arena fights were cool. I was just annoyed by the loading screens between them all.
Yeah. That's not Assassin's Creed to me, and that's just because of how I played
fair.
it. This combat system is so different from all the other Assassin's Creed.
Right.
Because to me, it's like you run around and you just stealth kill everyone. When you get to the final boss, you jump on him, you stab him, you have your cutscene with him,
Right.
and you walk out. That's how you do it.
Mhm.
And so, like, I didn't do a ton of the side stuff. I'll probably go back and do it.
Yeah.
Because
I did.
can and
I
I've got
did
time.
almost. I did all. I have like there's like 4 achievements left. One of them is like complete all locations, which no, I'm not doing that. And then there's just a couple other little ones that I just were so like chance based. One of them was like, oh, kill 3 people at once with a slash, and I was like, no,
That's stupid.
it's really hard to do. It's hard to get 3 people in the range of one like swing attack. Like that's just not a thing I'm going to do.
If you have a spear and they all have to be at the right level where they're going to die.
Yeah. So but I got most of the stuff. I did quite a bit. I think I got about 60 hours in it or so. I might jump back in eventually and get some DLC or something when it's, a year down the road or something, just to get back in and
Yeah.
have some fun with it. But I loved it. It was really good. So that'll do it for
That's new game
those 2
spoilers.
games. So,
So that's the end of our new game
we're
spoilers.
gonna drop we probably won't have any spoilers for Halo, but so
I mean,
it's
It's Halo 2 and Halo 3, which Halo 3 came out in 2007.
yeah, that's what we
So
looked
it's
up.
11 years old. If you
Yeah.
haven't beaten it by now and you haven't found out what happened at the end of it,
Sorry.
I don't feel sorry
about it.
for you.
Yeah, so we had started Halo 2 like a couple weeks ago and then just got busy. I played a mission or 2 on my own, and then we knocked out Halo 2 one night, jumped into Halo 3 for like 3 missions, and then went to Halo 4, or then finished Halo 3 on Sunday night. So we did 2 games
We
in
looked up and
basically
you
3
jokingly
nights.
said, "All right, so we beat it tonight, right?" And we ended up doing it. I
was
I realized
fast.
where we were. I was like, "This is the last mission."
Yeah, well, because when you load up in the Master Collection menu, it tells you how many missions are on each game. So it's like I knew there was
Yeah.
only 11 missions, and we were at 4 of 11 when we started the night. I'm like, this is all these par times are like 15 or 20 minutes. So in theory, should be able to knock it out, and we did. It's I was super disappointed in the remaster they did with Halo 3. I don't know if they
I don't know
touched
if they
it
actually
at all.
did anything with it.
Maybe I know that they're getting ready to put out a big patch with MCC later this year. Maybe they're going to be redoing some of those things, because the cutscenes in 2 were unbelievable.
2 was amazing.
Gorgeous. All the visuals were redone, and I really like in the first 2 games you can flip back and forth between the old and new with a button press. Cutscenes were really good. The story's story. Like, it's not that outstanding, especially when you're playing co-op. We aren't really paying that much attention.
No, because we're talking in cutscenes.
Right. But so Halo 3 is a good game, but the cutscenes looked horrendous.
So bad.
It was really bad.
That's one of those things. You kind of got to keep in mind. I don't think they did really a remaster on it because it was like, it's good enough.
Right.
Like it was HD
'Cause
when
it
it
was the
released because it was on a
Let's
360.
say it launched
and
on the 360.
all this stuff. So when it came out, they're like, all right, we don't need to really do that much with it. But if you jump from original Halo 2 graphics to Halo 3, it's like, yeah, this is amazing. But if you jump from remastered Halo 2 graphics to Halo 3, you're like,
It was a
wow, this
step
is
down.
garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it wasn't really outstanding. I just don't love the feel of Halo games. We talked about this a little bit.
lot.
But there's no like reaction when you're shooting your gun. It is just right here. This is where your crosshairs are. It doesn't matter if you're using a shotgun or if you're using a battle rifle. Like it's all just the same, and there's no hit markers.
There's no feedback at all. So
No
like you think
feedback.
about like Call of Duty, when you shoot someone with a shotgun in Call of Duty. So if I'm from me to you and I shoot you with a shotgun, you hear the sound, you get the hit marker, and you get little like when they die. You just
Yeah.
You're like, okay, that's good feedback from a gun I just got. When you do it in Halo, it's nothing. You're just like, boom. And when you're shooting the Flood, they fly to pieces, but even then they may not actually be dead.
Right.
So,
yeah, so it's just, I like it, but I think I've been spoiled by, I've been playing Wolfenstein.
Gets better.
So, we're going to start in on 4 probably this weekend or during this week or something like that. I'm excited. This is as far as I've gone. Like, I played the first 3 missions in Halo like 20 years ago, and that was my extent of Halo single player. Played multiplayer in the first 3 games. Mm-hmm. So I think 4 will be fun. We're going to do 5 together because and then I want to actually.
I'm only a couple missions into 5.
I want to play some multiplayer. Like, I want to.
We got to do some of the weird modes in 5.
I want to be a Halo guy. That's what I want to be. So, like, because I know that it's a good game, and I know there's improvements since it left from Bungie's hands, because it just is.
You're just done with it.
So it should be fun. I like that they wrapped up the story in 3. They gave you like an avenue to come back, but also it was very like, okay, this is good. Like, we got Covenant's gone, Flood's gone, Master Chief is alive, but he's
considered dead.
He's kind of disposed at the moment. So it's like, okay, cool. That's a good final thing. You could tell that was where Bungie wanted to stop, and they felt done with that storyline. They left it open-ended, but they didn't have to come back to it.
Yep.
Obviously, we had all the spin-off titles. You had ODST, which comes before Halo 3, sort of, kind of. It's happening like right before it. You've got Halo Reach, which I don't know anything about. Halo Wars. Halo Wars 2, I guess, sucks.
Those are just like RTS.
Halo Wars is kind of a weird thing. So we played a lot of Halo, and I finally know what people are talking about. Crazy. So that was a good segment right there.
Oh, that was a solid chunk of us talking about games we played. I love it. But
nothing wrong with that.
Moving on to the topics of the show. So, stuff coming out this week.
That's right.
Happy Sej Week, everybody.
Happy Sej Week.
Because as of Monday, February 26th, Szechuan sauce is at McDonald's. And not like it was before.
Nope.
It's like at McDonald's.
20 million cups. And this is United States only? Or is it worldwide? I don't know.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't look it up.
That's fair.
So
20 million cups.
If you go to McDonald's in your country and they don't have Szechuan sauce, it's not in your country.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Officially started Monday, February 26th. So yesterday for you guys.
Okay, if you're in the UK, KFC doesn't have chicken, so...
That's right. You guys, your life is basically over. So that's happening. Finally, you can thank Rick and Morty and creators of the show and all that jazz for finally putting it together. Tuesday, February 27th, Moss PSVR title.
I've heard really good things about.
Really good.
I'm excited to see some Let's Plays of it and to see what it's actually like.
I want to know what it is in
VR
VR because it's interesting. It's following a little mouse around. It's kind of looks like a 3D platformer type thing.
Like you are a person and Moss, like you and Moss, or you're Moss and you and the mouse work together.
Yeah, I think you're controlling both of them.
Relationship.
I don't know. It should be interesting. But when we saw it was coming out, I was like, okay, cool. But then they said VR. I'm like, weird. So that should be cool.
A good puzzler.
And then a really good puzzler. We're going to talk about probably going to be one of the better puzzlers we see on consoles this year. Bridge Constructor Portal.
Portal as in Portal the game.
Yep, and Bridge Constructor as in Bridge Constructor the game. So Bridge Constructor is you build bridges to get from point A to point B.
Get over it.
Portal is portals to get from point A to point B. So they're combining the 2 franchises. It came out December 20th for PC and for some mobile platforms. Now it's coming out on the 28th for Xbox One and Switch and the PS4. Inexplicably, it's coming out on Thursday,
Is it
March
really
1st.
for Switch? Did I write that down right? Check the link. It might be for PC, not for...
Which one?
The 28th. I'm not sure.
No, I looked at PC launch. It was December 20th.
Okay, so it is coming out on Switch?
Yeah.
Okay, weird. It's weird to launch on Xbox One and Switch early and then PS4 a day later.
But at any rate, that's coming out this week. That should be a really interesting game. It had pretty good reviews. It was 9 out of 10 on Steam.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting genre.
Play Portal.
I don't. I have trouble wrapping my head around that kind of stuff. It's just I've seen like how people have to solve things, and I don't know if my brain can ever make that connection.
That's the kind of puzzle solving that I like thrive on though. It's like, yeah, there's maybe a way to do it, but this is the way that I did it.
Right.
So,
which I do like that. So I kind of want to. I've always wanted to check it out. You and I
might be good at that.
I think it would be a good thing to do together.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I think I would need more context going into it.
But that's kind of it for what's coming out this week because there ain't squat coming out this week.
This is how it goes.
Yep.
In this
We're in the early part of the year.
Yep.
Early part of Q1. So that's how it is. Our next story, we found IGN via Reddit, is Metal Gear Survive. So the world's favorite game right now. But before you buy it, things you should know. Thing you should know. Metal Gear Survive makes you pay $10 for a new save slot if you don't want to delete your old one. So just so we're kind of making things clear, you don't have to technically pay real world money if you don't want to. You can pay. What you do is you pay in-game currency. So they have what's called survivor coins. That's the in-game currency. So you have to pay 1,000 survivor coins to have a new save slot if you don't want to delete your old save. And you can buy 1,150 survivor coins for $9.99, so $10. So if you don't have that kind of survivor coinage on you, then you'll spend $10 to have a new save slot.
Now we don't know how quick you earn it, but we do know that when you log in and you play, you earn more every day. So it may not be that bad, but the fact that you have to
buy a save slot. I did read from the Reddit post I found. I went through the comments. Reddit user Rogue Aiden, as how I'm going to say his name or her name. I'm going to say their name. Said, quote, "This is actually really common in MMO-like games because you're actually paying for character slots, not defending them. But this is really not uncommon in games like this. It's not a new concept, just new phrasing." End quote. So that was kind of like helpful for someone like me who doesn't play those kind of games.
I made this because I wanted you to see what Konami actually wants. See, you're going money. I just wanted, an accurate representation of what the game is. There's money and money.
Doesn't make it okay because it's not the kind of game that you need to pay for save slots for.
Yeah, and MMOs, that's a really hard comparison model to make because it's a subscription service you're paying for. Game. This is a survival game, right? Which
still it's a full price survival game.
Not a good one. Right? Is it full price? Is it 40 or is it 60? Either way, it's more than it should be.
But people are saying, I haven't dug deep into the articles, but I've seen several articles and several comments that are like, it's actually a pretty good survival game. It's actually kind of fun.
Right.
But it has just royally tanked, which is good because of things like this. Like, this isn't okay.
No.
It's not okay. If you want to make a great survival game, cool. Just call it Survive or whatever. Don't attach the Metal Gear name to it when Kojima's left. And I know that, not this time it didn't.
Yeah, but they just kind of
the Metal Gear name may have backfired on them.
Yeah, well, it's there's a lot of problems I have with this game, and it's they've talked. If you go look up reviews and things like that, they'll talk to you about there's not very good tutorials. It takes forever to get into stuff. It's not very clear. It's needlessly complicated in every sense of the word. So kind of like a Metal Gear game, but like everything in every system,
it's needlessly complicated without all the good things about Metal Gear.
It's needlessly complicated. When at the end of the day, it's just to survive and make stuff and build your base. And the multiplayer is actually just a horde mode, and not everyone thought it would be like open world multiplayer. Just drop in. No, it's not.
It's 7 days to die.
It is. So it's terrible. And the problem is the campaign is supposed to take anywhere from 15 to 20 hours to complete. So selling a character slot for a game that you spend 15 hours in just seems kind of scummy.
At $10 per slot.
That's insane. It's ridiculous. Maybe it's super easy to get with in-game currency. We don't know, but we're not going to know because I can't.
Also does require a constant online connection because of the microtransaction system. So if you're not online, you can't play. From an article back in January, they said that they would have microtransactions through an online store where players can use real money to purchase in-game currency that can be used to buy things like boost passes. The virtual currency can also be acquired simply by playing the game, which is like every game ever. But still, paying for a save slot.
Yep.
Just I don't know how one can go through such a long list of bad decisions.
It's just crazy.
Let's attach this name to a beloved designer, not just a beloved name, like a beloved designer, developer that's made this game, who we, on the public face of it, have screwed over.
Yeah.
No one knows what's happened at Konami aside from Konami and Kojima. They're the only ones that know. None of us do.
Right.
And so on the face of it, they're just scummy people because now they've done this. And so we're like, why would I buy that?
Yeah.
It's ranked number 6 on the UK sales charts for physical games.
Right.
And so there's no telling how bad it did in the digital world.
Yeah.
If it did well at all.
When you've got Grand Theft Online still outpacing you in retail sales, it's insane. So I saw somebody pointed out, it's now Konami could, in theory, translate this I guess people don't want a Metal Gear game, so we'll just stop making Metal Gear.
Which they probably should.
Which they probably should anyways. It's better than having this stuff. So I just don't. It's one of those needlessly complicated games with bad reviews and crappy microtransactions. It just feels like we've heard this before. So thanks a lot, Konami.
If you've played Metal Gear Survive and have a different opinion, or even if that's just your opinion is the same as ours, let us know.
Yeah,
because we haven't played, we won't play.
I want to meet people that are playing this.
Yeah,
and I mean, maybe we need to have a conversation about other stuff, but I'm just curious.
Yeah,
who would bother?
Yep. So, moving on. Article over from GameSpot.
Let's talk about happiness for a second.
Yes, happy good things. Burnout Paradise is getting a current gen remaster confirmed by EA. Are no longer the most hated developer on the internet.
Didn't take long,
Way to go, Konami.
Jeez.
The racing game has been given a PS4 and Xbox One release date of March 16th, while the PC version is coming later this year. Ignore the spelling. I couldn't get it to copy over, and so I was like typing it, running through, like reading the article and typing
I get
at the
it.
same
You're
time.
not a typer. I'm a typer.
I'm not. If you ever notice like weirdly misspelled titles and descriptions, it's because James hasn't looked yet, and I just didn't pay attention because YouTube doesn't have spell check.
Yeah.
You don't get the red squiggly line in the YouTube title bar, weird enough.
Oh, man.
But Burnout Paradise Remastered will include the base game and 8 add-on packs, including open world expansion Big Surf Island, as well as Legendary Cars pack, which brought vehicles based on those from movies such as Back to the Future and Ghostbusters. EA says this new edition includes technical enhancements that include high-resolution textures in 4K, 60 FPS support on PS4 Pro, Xbox One X. It will cost US $40, 35 pounds, euros, whatever, and
it's pounds.
Pounds. No, euros is the weird E, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then $48 in Australian dollars, which
I guess that's normal. I don't know. It doesn't sound that bad.
In kangaroo dollars.
So this is a good price, I think. I played Burnout Paradise quite a bit. Not as much as I played Burnout 3 or Burnout Revenge. I love the Burnout series, right? If you don't know about Burnout, it was just a really solid car game. Burnout Paradise was the first one that went truly open world, but they never had licensing for cars. So it was always like there's a very similar car here. What would you think this car was if you had to guess?
I mean,
it certainly looks like a Mustang, right?
Weirdly enough,
looks like a Boss Mustang. No, it's called a Cavalry. Cavalry.
Yeah. They apparently don't have that Forza money.
Which is funny because EA made the game, right? This is not like a new EA thing. This was EA. I guess they just thought they could save money because Need for Speed was still going on at the time and not putting out buckets of crap every single year. But so it's a really good game. It has,
what language is this in?
I think this is like Swedish or German, or I think it's probably like Swedish.
It sounds like Boost Bar. I'm like,
yeah. Don't worry about it. It's not the important
little
thing
languages
here.
where an S and a Z run together.
But it should be good. It was a very solid racing game. Had a lot of really cool modes in and out of it. It added one of the add-on packs was actually a cops mode. So like hot pursuit style thing. So I'm definitely gonna pick this up. What I love about it is they announced it in the middle of February and it comes out March 16th. That's how you should do a remaster. I don't need months and months of hype like we had for Shadow of the Colossus, which I still haven't played. Just give me a month. Like the rumors came out that morning.
The rumor come out.
And then like that afternoon we had like an official announcement.
Does Bruno Mars is gay?
All right, so like we said, March 16th, all the DLC. One concern was that in their in-game shots or in the store, it mentioned in-game microtransactions. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We don't have to worry about
That's
that.
not unfortunate.
I guess that is a fortunately thing.
Yeah, so it's especially a worry because EA is putting this game out.
Exactly.
So EA has confirmed there will be no microtransactions in the game, despite that.
It was a shot from in the original game because the original game did have microtransactions, buying the extra cars and things like that. This comes with everything, so you don't have to worry about it. I, for one, am excited because Burnout is just like this ridiculous game that just was like over the top car physics. We'll have to look up some stuff and I'll show you. So I'm excited to see
do want to play this.
Everything again. It'll be fun. It's a fun open world. It's arcadey. It is not Forza in any sense of the word. It's not even Need for Speed. It's just, here's your car, go drive it,
like
blow
Midnight
it
Club?
Up, blow the cars. No, Midnight Club had customization. I don't think this will have much at all.
I remember Midnight Club, the thing to do was like roll up on two wheels and drive between buses.
Yeah, this is, it's not quite like that. They used to have a mode, and I don't remember if it's in Paradise, but there was one that was called Crash Breaker, and you would just see how much damage you could cause by driving like into a car with like extra explosions, and then you could like flip your car in the air and hit other cars and try and chain it together. It was just insane. I know that was in Revenge. We'll have to check it out. Like I said, March 16th. Get excited for it.
Yes. Speaking of things to be excited for, article over from Polygon. Super Mario Odyssey's first add-on content is coming this February, free update that will add Mario's brother Luigi and 2 leaderboard-based online modes to the game. Nintendo announced today in a Nintendo Direct mini presentation. So that was a little while ago.
February 20th. But it's out now. Like they announced it. It came out that day. It is out now if you want to go do it. Balloon World offers some new stuff.
Fun fact, I don't know if you saw this anywhere, but the layout of these balloons is the layout of the colors from the Super Famicom.
Yeah, Super Famicom. Okay. That's what I thought. I thought I saw that somewhere. So you've got a pair of connected modes in the update. In the Hide It mode, you have 30 seconds to run somewhere in the game and hide away a balloon. In the Find It mode, you get the same amount of time to run around the world and find balloons other players have hidden. It's kind of like a form of objective-based speedrunning. It really benefits you to know the map inside and out. It kind of sounds like you could do it in different kingdoms too. It's not just locked into one. So cool. I'm not much for leaderboards. I'm not much of that kind of thing. That's not really my thing.
The mode sounds kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like
you don't get to play as Luigi.
No,
he's still not a playable character. You do get some new fancy outfits. You ready for this? Yes. Are you excited to see these outfits?
Yes.
Boom. Look at that. So we got sunshine, shades, and an outfit with it. You got your musician hat with that sweet suit.
Looks like a gangster.
Yeah.
It's like Mario Sopranos.
And then the knight helmet and armor. Looks. I think that's my favorite right there.
That was pretty dope.
So I'm excited.
I've seen him throw that. Like, how do you quickly get the helmet off and then throw it? Like take the time to where he actually like wiggles the helmet off his head and then throws it.
Boy, that would
grabs it.
That would be
wiggles it back
super annoying. Like after like the first 3 times.
No. Apparently, this isn't a thing in the article. This is stuff I've heard anecdotally that Luigi, like when you walk up to him with different outfits, he has different responses.
All right,
so if you walk up to him in like the wedding outfit, he goes, "Oh, bro, I didn't know you were getting married today." Like that kind of thing.
I love
so
it.
The different outfits garner different responses, so you can run back.
I
and
like
forth
that. I mean, they do that with some of the different things in game where you got to be dressed up as a certain character to get to a certain place. So that's cool. So go check that out if you have Super Mario Odyssey. Always good to see new stuff there. Very exciting times.
Yes, indeed it is. I don't know if I'll get into it or not. I haven't picked up my Switch in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I go through phases. I want to pick up the people that made the game we used to play with the shooting and the jumping in the 8-bit style. Not Shovel Knight.
Towerfall?
Towerfall. The guys that made Towerfall made Kathleen.
Oh, Celeste?
Celeste. That's the one. Yeah, that's how good. It's $20. $20, but it's
I've heard really good things about the game.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a really good indie platformer.
Mike makes games?
Matt makes games.
Matt makes games. I knew it was an
So I want to grab it on Switch because it's kind of just real portable version of it.
Switch friendly.
So that'll be fun. I want to get that. Switch has always been for us an accessory, right? It's like we have a few things that we want to play on Nintendo as things.
It's really like
okay, I heard it there.
I understand like what you mean by that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. But like that's like an exception to the rule thing of like that's us.
Well, it's interesting. So I do have to make a small correction. Last week we talked about Bayonetta, and I mistakenly said Bayonetta was a JRPG. It is not. It is a Japanese style game, but it's hack and slash, similar to Devil May Cry. So now I may have to pick up Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Switch. Although I guess there's been some issues with people like getting games, but the codes aren't working, or like they've just been having a bunch of shipping issues with it. So it's interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
Get it together, Nintendo. We love you. Stop failing. We appreciate that. But guys, thanks for hanging out with us this week. Remember to follow us on Twitter at IRGames. We'll tell you all the things we're doing and send out cool videos and articles that we didn't get to get to in the show, and funny jokes occasionally.
And then
unfunny jokes more occasionally.
No, not more. They're always good. Someone's going to find them funny. And then we've also, don't forget to follow at Second Invite. We're dropping a new episode of Boss Fight this week. We're talking about Battle Royale.
Battle Royale.
So get excited. Make sure you hop on over there. Like I said, those come out on Friday. So if you're watching this on Friday, good news. Hop on over. Check out the link below.
It's live now. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.